What the hell is even that?
What exactly separates humans from animals? With mental illness running rampant in our world, the line's about to get real blurry with some of the clips we'll watch today.
It's the same thing.
Starting with this woman, who's determined to transition into some sort of lizard-dragon species. As always, stick around to the end for the recap, this week's woke news, and much, much more.
No, not my eyeballs. My balls. You know, down there, the danglers. Yeah, I had them removed in 2018. It's called an orchiectomy, as I consider myself to be a genderless dragon, and I will at some point get a full penectomy, and I will have no gender, no genitalia to identify my gender. I love that. Yeah. Bye-bye, balls. Bye-bye. It's been nice loving you.
What the hell are you?
Now, I'm not sure what's worse, the mental illness or the surgeon who profits off of it. Either way, it's time someone takes away his voting rights for the sake of his country. And it's not all about appearances. Many folks also act and behave just like animals, like this next woman who eats spaghetti off the New York subway. Take a watch.
New York is not a real place.
Now, I wouldn't even dare to look at a subway floor under a microscope, but you can be pretty sure this woman's going home with a bad tummy ache. And that's what you get for acting like a common rat on the street. Meanwhile, you'll notice a lot of others choose to identify as dogs for some reason, as our next two clips will show. Now, it's interesting, their screams sound like most woke university students when you ask them any valid question. And as for the first clip, all I see is someone who grew up without proper parenting, and I just hope we stop normalising ridiculous behaviour like this. That being said, there are some crazy things that even animals don't do. For example, using your own sister as a surrogate and impregnating her with twins. See if you can follow along this next one.
My sister Brianna is carrying both our twins.
Honestly, I've been raising a child for, 13 years
Well, if
now.
this is what you did, then I'm scared because I'm a brat. Hello, Brianna. Brianna being the carrier was the most important thing to us. I knew that I could trust her. Some people thought, this is sick, you guys are freaks, white trash from Arkansas. What you're doing is wrong to the core.
And they're all adults making these comments. Shocking.
I think we found the problem here.
Now, I'll be honest, I'm not even going to bother to figure out how or why they got into this situation. All I know is we need to make it stop and bring insane asylums back. Otherwise, we're truly putting our own species to shame. Another thing I can't stand is people wasting perfectly good food for no good reason. Take a look at this next one.
High five.
Now, I'm not sure what that accomplishes, besides forcing the supermarket to restock their inventory and waste more food. But going back to the topic of humans versus animals, our penultimate clip is brought to you by comedian Lou Berger, who explains why furries might see themselves banned from schools, crazy as that might seem.
Did you hear that furries could get banned in Oklahoma schools? The furry fandom is a community interested in anthropomorphic animals. There's a diverse range of participation from art conventions to role-playing. And some folks in Oklahoma have been expressing themselves as furries at school. Well, like the Dirty Dancing dad of furries, James Humphrey proposed outlawing that. He proposed a law banning furries from participating in school curriculums. Where suddenly, and without warning, furries' parents would have to come pick them up, or else they'd be picked up by animal control.
Finally, something we can agree on.
Now, I'm not even sure why furries would be allowed in a school in the first place, but it's no wonder parents are pulling their kids out left and right. And speaking of schooling, our final clip offers a glimpse into a child's life and why we see a growing number of confused youth. Here's a non-binary cow from a popular TV show explaining their gender identity.
If I'm going to lead the herd, I want to do it as myself. After all, you always say to lead with your heart, right? Well, my heart says that the way I feel most myself is to go by the name Fred. That's because I'm non-binary, and Fred is the name that fits me best. And I also use they and them, because calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me.
Now, don't ask me why we're putting this nonsense on a show for young children, but nothing in the world really surprises me anymore. The only good news I can tell you is that this show got cancelled shortly after this episode aired. Now, we've watched a lot of truly disturbing clips today that don't exactly put our species in the best light. From people altering their appearance to look like animals, to people identifying as or behaving like animals. If you ask me, what really separates humans from animals is the ability to use complex reasoning and language. So instead of screaming incoherently and acting like mindless buffoons, maybe some of these folks should try to act properly and show some self-respect. But let me know what you guys think. Would we have seen behaviour like this 50 years ago, and why are people like this today? I'll leave you with one more piece of news, since we're on the topic of humans and animals. The animal rights group PETA has been calling for merry-go-rounds to be cancelled, because according to them, the use of animal designs on merry-go-rounds unintentionally celebrates the exploitation of thinking, feeling, affectionate and social beings. They also argued that children in particular are taught to become compassionless beings who see animals as simply there for our entertainment. And since they started campaigning to ban all horse or animal-shaped designs in British playgrounds, one Kansas-based carousel producer actually made the call to stop producing all animal-themed carousels. Now, plenty of politicians have spoken out against this campaign, and I for one don't blame any of them. It's ridiculous enough to think children are subconsciously learning to become heartless exploiters of animals. But the real problem for me is that the cancel culture will never just stop there. I wouldn't be surprised if switching from horse designs to airplane designs, for example, would lead to backlash from the climate change lobby, given how sensitive everyone is. I'm all for protecting animals, but there are no doubt plenty of more pressing issues that actually have an impact on the world. This just sounds like a complete waste of time and resources. As always, thanks for supporting this channel, and I'll see you all next week.